Good morning, friends. I am back with a much simpler video after last week's floor video, or 2 weeks ago rather, and I'm going to show you how I took this this stool, and I upcycled it and turned it into this. And not only is this now a functional stool, it's also very pretty, and it's the first thing people will go to. When you have company, they'll go right to this and say, can I use this? Can I sit on this? So here's how I did this. I took some chalk paint, and this is what makes this so simple. You may want to wipe this piece of furniture down depending on, you could have gotten it at Goodwill, you could have inherited it, it could just be sitting around your house somewhere, and this works on all wooden furniture. So you just take the chalk paint, there's no need to sand. I will have links to this chalk paint and all of the supplies on my website. My website is Untitled Decoupage. That's the new website. The word with isn't in there. And do you see this brush? This brush is a chalk paint brush, and in particular it helps when you're trying to get into all of these little grooves and spaces, and sometimes wood just has imperfections in it. So again, there's no need to sand. You just take 1 or 2 coats of chalk paint depending on what you like with the finish, and I'm covering this, I'm working on it upside down first. I am now putting these felt guards on the feet because we have wooden floors and we don't want people, pulling things across the floor and scratching up the floor. And now what I'm going to do is, once the bottom is done, I'm going to flip this over, and I can now see all of the spaces that I missed looking down on the top, and I will finish painting all of these. Of course, I'm going to paint the top here. And this stool it's an older piece of wood, so the surface is a little bit uneven. You can see probably some marks up top here, which is what also makes this perfect for decoupage. I'm going to take a blow dryer and just blow this dry quickly. Chalk paint dries quickly, but it's humid outside, so I'm just going to make sure this is dry before I decoupage. And if you're just tuning in to my videos and you're not sure what decoupage is, it just means you're cutting out papers and gluing them to a surface. So I will put the links to these papers down below, this paper in particular. It's a very large piece and it's perfect for furniture. And I'm just going to cut out, these are fairy roses. I'm just going to cut these out and I'm going to apply them to the surface, and I'll show you how. And now that I am done cutting out the fairy roses, by the way, these are my images. If you want to sell furniture and use my images, that's fine. As long as you don't mass produce them, I'm okay with you upcycling furniture and selling it or doing whatever using my images. You can go back to my Facebook page, Upcycle with Decoupage. And if you want, ask me in private. If you need something in writing, I would be happy to write that up for you. And I'm applying decoupage glue. Now, right now, I am only applying it pretty much around where I'm going to place the paper. So instead of applying it over the whole surface, I'm just going to put it down where I want this paper to lie flat. And I'm now taking a plastic sandwich bag. You can see I have my hand covered in that. And I'm going to go over this whole area lightly and just smooth out any wrinkles or air bubbles. Now I'm going to go over to the other side and repeat those same steps. Apply the decoupage glue. Lay my image down over the glue, and then take the plastic wrap and smooth the surface out. I'm using a blow dryer just to help this dry a little more quickly. You can let it air dry also. Now, once this top section is dry, I'm going to go around the whole piece And I'm using an 80 grit nail file. You can use 80 grit sandpaper, and I'm just going to go around sporadically and file away some of this chalk paint just to age it a little bit. Just want to make sure you take a damp rag or cloth and just wipe away any of the surface, the sanding that still may be left around your whole piece, and apply a layer of decoupage glue over the whole surface again. You want to make sure you get around all of those edges. If you miss any of the edges, that is when your work can start to become unglued over time. So it's really important, make sure you get the whole surface, but those edges in particular, pay attention to those. And the other thing is, you'll notice there might be some unevenness or wrinkles. That's just because there's so much gloss on here. Gloss will always highlight any imperfections. Once this dries, you're not going to see any of the ridges or bumps. The pattern in the paper covers all of that up. And I'm going to cover this whole thing up, and then I'm going to dry it again. I would be doing this outside, except it's pouring out today, and the inside of the house is pretty humid too. The heat and the air, neither one of them is coming on, so it's kind of humid in here. So I'm going to use the blow dryer to dry this again. And once everything's dry, I am applying 3 coats of this liquitex matte varnish to the surface, the top, the whole stool. And now that everything is dry, here's how our stool looks. And this went from being something that was just kind of sitting in the garage, not looking too good, to something that we'll use all the time. We'll keep it in the house now, and it's actually going to look very pretty over in the corner. And by the way, guys, don't forget, I have a Facebook page called Upcycle with Decoupage. If you go over and like and follow the page, you'll be notified when I put new videos out. And I try to get those out a couple of times a month now. I'll put the links below to my website and to direct links to the page where you can go and buy these papers. And I will see you guys as soon as I can with another video. Hope you're enjoying the springtime, and I'll see you soon, friends. Thank you for subscribing. Those keep us going over here when we work for YouTube. And I'll see you guys soon with another video. Thanks again, guys. Bye-bye.